Try to say that 3 times in a row.
Severus. Where's this episode going? You're listening to Getting Fae'd. We,
Meike,
Lukas,
and Lea are reading A Court of Mist and Fury for the very first time. Today we are covering chapters 18 and 19. Get Fae'd with us! Woo! No intro today. We have a lot of lore and stuff to cover. So
I'd like to say at least hello.
Hello!
Okay, hello guys.
No time to lose. Let's go.
Right.
Who are you?
Welcome. I will decrease our speed now. Welcome. Be calm. Enjoy this episode.
You can channel your inner Werner Herzog.
Welcome to this podcast. We are here to hear a recap now. What happened before, Meike?
Why always me?
Lukas, what happened before?
What? But shit. Last episode, we met Cassian and Asriel. And Amren.
Right.
Meike fell in love with Asriel. No one fell in love with Cassian. Sorry, not sorry. No, he's fine. He's just a bit annoying, but not like Tamlin hate level.
He's like not Lucian from Wish, but Lucian from like the supermarket.
Okay.
Not high-end Lucian, just
Yeah.
Annoying Lucian.
And they talked a lot about their plans. We got their whole entire tragic backstory. I'm not going to recap
Except
that
for
now.
Asriel's.
Right. But they were like friends for a long time. And then they basically said, we have a mission. We want to find Jurian's ring. And now we have to talk to the Bone Carver. Trademark. And that's basically, yeah, right. Then there was another little chapter where Feyre wanted to go see the Bone Carver in the prison. But because it's underground, she like PTSD'd a lot and didn't go through with it. That's it.
right. And what they want to know is if it is possible to resurrect Jurian, because apparently that is the plan of the King of Highburn. And that is
Right.
why they need to talk to the Bone Carver. Which basically happens now. Like, Feyre wakes up with Amren at the foot of her bed. Wild opener.
Yeah.
And Feyre makes an interesting point because Rysand had said that no one could enter without his or Feyre's permission. But Amren is here. So
I don't think rules apply to Amren. She just does what she wants.
either that, or was she perhaps with Rüsi in the night?
Or maybe Feyre wants Amren to enter in the night.
Or that. Right.
You know what? I feel like the book wants me to be afraid and a little spooked about Amren. But the way she behaves is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, she feels like a cliche villain. She stands at the end of her bed in the night. Like she could have done what she's about to do in the morning. But she was like, no, I'm gonna go into her room while she's asleep and then just stare at her until she wakes up because I am spooky.
And that's why I think maybe she was with Rysand in the night, because like maybe they had their little hokey pokey, and then she was like, now I'm leaving. Oh, I still have this brooch. Here you go, Feyre. I'm out, bitches.
I think that I have a conspiracy on that. Like a small conspiracy.
Oh boy.
But it does not include the hokey pokey with Rysand, unfortunately. I'll have to wait until you recap the next 2 sentences.
Okay.
Until I do my conspiracy.
Well, then what Amren does is... that kind of threw me off, I'm sorry.
Recap now. Let's do it.
Okay.
We have no time to lose.
You said we're on a tight time schedule.
Okay. Amren gives Feyre an amulet of hers, which she used to get out of prison. And so this will kind of protect Feyre. And so Feyre does not have to be afraid anymore to be trapped in that prison.
Okay,
Cute.
this is where my conspiracy comes in. Because I was wondering, okay, Amren, why the fuck didn't you hand over this amulet like a day earlier to like actually ensure that Feyre will make it out alive? Like, yes, she says this amulet is really important to her and it's like a failsafe for Feyre. But I think that maybe Rysand told Amren to like go into a room. That's why she could just enter. And
He let her in.
Yeah, he let her in to just kind of give her some random amulet and say, hey, that's my mighty thingy that helped me out. So that this like placebo could then help Feyre to get through
I like it.
the prison time.
It fits how this whole little arc ends, you know? But we'll get to that in like an hour. Well,
I had a different theory. when she gave her the amulet, I was afraid that maybe now Feyre was smuggling something either in or out of the prison. I mean, we know Amren was there, and I was like, she's giving her this item that did something. So maybe she wants, I don't know, Feyre to bring it into the prison so someone else can steal it from her and also get out. And I was like, ow, is this prison break? Why did I sound like Super Mario dying?
Just wanted to say that, like the
when
lava
he gets,
sound.
Yes, when he gets hit with fire and or like falls into the lava and then he burns and it's like,
Okay.
Sorry, tight time schedule, I forgot. I take it back.
Amren says she doesn't give this amulet lightly, but it's a loan and she expects Feyre to give it back as soon as this mission is over. And this short interaction ends with Amren leaving abruptly, and Feyre makes quite a strange remark in the end because she says Rhys hadn't been wrong about the Fire Drake comparison. And I was like, why?
Honestly, this book is so full of stuff Rhys said to her. And she's like, oh yeah, that moment he said that. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, because she values her treasure? Dragon treasure? What is it? Or is it just, she's ghastly? Like when you say, this old woman, she's mean, she's a dragon, you know? I don't know.
Me, neither. Sorry, Sketcher.
How dare you interrupt me?
But the way she talks about giving the amulet back is also so funny. She's like, but if you don't give it back, if you even think about running away with it, I'm gonna find you and you're gonna regret it. And Ferris is like, okay, thanks, good night.
Yeah, they're all kind of wild.
I think
Yes.
I'm starting to like Amren, probably not for the right reason. I think for me, she's this silly dress-up evil person.
Yeah, to me too. Like, she's funny.
Yeah.
Funny and fun to be around because she's like, hey, I'm powerful and evil.
Yeah.
Well, next we rejoin Feyre and Rhysand hiking up the mountain
Yippee!
to the entrance of the prison. So after Feyre's failure the last day, there's no reprise whatsoever and they immediately try again.
Yeah.
I liked it because I was sad that we didn't get to the prison right away.
I found it quite a weird writing choice. I don't know, I felt like having one chapter of downtime between there would have given her failure a bit more consequences and a little meaning. Because this is like, I failed. Well, I immediately try again. It's like, okay. I mean, I guess they have nothing better to do. This is what they have to do. But then I was like, why put a chapter break there anyways?
Yeah. It feels kind of wasted page
Yeah.
space to like have her go, then come back, then get something, and then go back in.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, because she doesn't really reflect upon it, because it's just like basically the last sentence on the chapter before.
It just makes it seem like this amulet has to be important. Because it doesn't really come up in this chapter. Like, she doesn't use it, and she does not help someone get out. Spoiler. Or maybe she did, unknowingly.
I mean, that's true. Maybe she was like, I need to introduce this amulet somewhere. I guess they're going to the prison before
Maybe she will
sometime.
not be able to give the amulet back, and then Amren is gonna hunt her down for the rest of the book.
Maybe.
She just forgets and is like, oh shit.
Maybe. Well, they are both dressed in fighting garb, and
Nice.
Rhysand is carrying his big sword.
Ooh.
And that surprises Feyre because she's never seen him fight with a weapon before. Well, except for when he picked up that dagger to fight Amarantha. I was about to say Amren. But that kind of prompts Rhys to talk about Cassian, and on their way up they kind of go through his whole inner circle one by one.
Before that, I want to make a side note, because like when they start hiking to the prison, Rhysand looks at the amulet and is like, she gave you that. And then Feyre wants to kind of elaborate on that, and then Rhysand goes like, shh, don't say anything you don't want anyone to hear, because the inmates of the prison don't have anything better to do than listen through the rocks for information they can sell or something like that. And then on the next page, he goes on spilling his whole entire backstory
Yes.
of his inner circle.
Well, he doesn't spill his backstory, just of the people he knows. But yeah, it's wild.
Would have been very funny if it was like, well, and it's so nice to live in Valaris, this secret hidden place. And the inmates are like,
I'm pretty sure he mentions Valaris.
really?
I think so.
Yes. When they talk about Morrigan.
Right.
He's just like she runs both Valaris and the actual court.
Well, guess
He
secret's
fought
out
so
now.
hard to keep it a secret, and then he just spills the beans.
Or maybe the prisoners are all so old that they know Valaris because they know it from before it was hidden. Wow.
I guess.
Let's go through his inner circle. The information we get about Cassian is not that much because we already know quite a lot about Cassian. But he's the best fighter Rysand has ever encountered. And in hand-to-hand combat, he would defeat Rysand, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Like, he's proper good. Turned British there for a second.
You know, it's very nice to see that Rysand puts people with the required skill for a position into that position.
Unlike other people.
Politics could never.
Dobrindt lässt grüßen.
After that happy thought, let's get to something happier. Azriel. Well, he might not actually be that much happier because, as we know, he is a bastard. And he has two older...
He's a bastard.
Sad.
Very sad bastard boy.
Love it. And he has two older half-brothers, legitimate sons of his father. And they are very cruel, which they obviously got from their mother. Classic Eva stepmom. But also, no cruel blood in Azriel because they got it from their mom.
His dad's cool.
He only loves cruel women.
I don't think his dad is cool.
No, he isn't. Because he locks Azriel up in a windowless, lightless cell while he lived in that court. Or, no, not court. They're Illyrians. They don't have courts. Who
In
knows?
his house, I guess.
Clan.
Yeah, Azriel's only allowed to leave this cell 1 hour a day to see some light.
At least something?
How kind.
That's so sad.
Yes, very sad. And he also wasn't allowed to learn how to fly. And that's probably the reason why he couldn't fly when he got to that
Yes.
war camp.
That explains.
But I liked our trans icon Azrael theory.
Yeah, me too.
Well, and his brothers, one could describe them as curious scientists in the making. They set Azriel on fire to see if his healing could keep up.
How nice.
Good siblings.
Could it?
Curious, oriented toward knowledge. One should encourage them.
Yeah, outside field experiments are important.
Practical usage of science.
Yeah.
But we also learn eventually his brothers were punished.
Do you think Rhys and Cassian avenged Azriel?
I think so.
In my mind, Rysand and Azriel went on a little revenge spree. Or do you think it was Rysand and Cassian and Azriel just watched?
Or maybe he wasn't even there. I don't know. I feel like he tells them when they become friends, and then maybe when Rhys gets into a higher position, he's like, yo, Cassian, let's go for a little fun
Or maybe they
trip.
even go that night when he tells them. They're like, how dare they?
Revenge, stabby stab.
Well,
But all this cruelty aside, it has one positive consequence. Because now Azrael has a mysterious and hot scar on his hand, and Meike can find him even hotter.
and he is trauma boy.
He has burnt hands, he has it all.
Well, let's get to someone else attractive. Morrigan.
More.
More. We have to keep up. Well, Morrigan's role is to be the last resort if Rysand's Illyrian's commanders should fall. And we get no further explanation toward that. But until then, Morrigan kind of fills the role of, I felt, of a chancellor in regard to Rysand if he were a president. That means she is the court overseer. She manages relations between the Court of Nightmares and the Court of Dreams. And she runs the capital cities, Valaris and the Hewn City, where he does name drop Valaris.
Big mistake.
And Rysand says she might be considered a queen.
Awesome. Queen Morrigan, awesome. This is where I'm doing a sidetrack. Even if you say we're on a tight schedule, I don't care. I'm doing a tangent.
I'll allow it.
Queen Morrigan is too important to
It's a short
not do
one.
a tangent about.
It's actually not about Morrigan, our Morrigan.
Okay, then shut up.
I started reading a new book. It's
How dare you?
I was very frustrated and didn't know what to read. And then I saw this little silly book about Fae, or like especially one Fae queen ruling England.
Queen Victoria?
No, her name.
Is Victoria Fae?
Yes.
Did I miss something?
No, she's a werewolf according to Doctor Who.
A what?
A werewolf.
Okay.
Anyways, in this book, England is ruled by a queen that came to King Edward during 14-something And she was like, can we make a bargain and I help you win the war against someone else? And then he's like, yeah, let's do that. And then she tricks him, and then he wins, and then he dies, and she becomes queen.
Nice.
And her name is Queen Morrigan.
Funny.
And I just like the thought of that. And it was a very fun coincidence that in this chapter, Morrigan gets called somewhat like a queen. And then I'm reading a book about Queen Morrigan, who is called for short Queen More. Like always they call her Queen More.
Yeah.
Funny.
But she's not as cool as Queen Morrigan here.
I think it's
Sad.
safe
The
to say
queen.
that this book was inspired by ACOTAR. Like, I didn't read it, but like the title of this book is...
The Rose Bargain by Sasha Peyton Smith. Yeah, it kind of feels like the author read ACOMAF and then was like, I love Morrigan. I want her to be my queen. I'm gonna write a story about someone named Queen More.
Relatable.
It's
Yeah.
a very silly book, but it's a fun read. It's a very quick read, and it's very stupid.
Also, stay tuned for Meike's debut novel, King Ass.
The cover is just a peach with a crown.
And dark hair.
A hairy peach! How nasty!
And shadows floating around it.
That's better. Like a shadowy peach with a crown.
Nice.
And some wings.
I don't need the wings.
But by the way,
I do.
talking about Meike's debut novel, whatever happened to your poetry collection, Lea, that you were going to write this year?
Well, the year is still ongoing.
Oh,
She's
so-
on a tight schedule.
What do you think I have to do after this recording? Some poeting.
Okay. So you can confirm that it will drop this year.
What year even are we?
2025.
What is time? I think that's a no.
Well, it's safe to say that Morrigan does the actual work required for ruling.
And we predicted that.
Yes, typical. Let the women do the work.
Oh, I thought you say typical getting Fae'd predict something.
I mean, sure.
We are correct whenever we are not wrong.
Deep shit, bro.
Wow.
Well, let's talk about Amren, who is the true last resort, kind of last wrath. Because if everyone in Rysand's circle should fail, Rysand will break Amren's curse and release her onto the world. But first she will have to claim him as her first victim, which basically is kind of like a suicide bomb.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, she's his cyanide pill.
Yeah, but like with also outward
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Like,
consequences.
imagine a cyanide pill that fucking explodes when you bite on it and
Right.
has a big radius.
There is so much information in that little sentence about Amren. Like, if all of his inner circle died, he would want to die too. Which is very, he doesn't want to live without his friends.
Sad.
Oh, cute, but understandable.
I actually read it as like he just wants to die before Amren unleashes because he does not want to be there when that happens.
I think it's both.
Yeah, it can be both.
Yeah. And then also, many other people must be interested in Amren, right? Or do they not know she exists?
Well, I have a theory for that, but maybe we'll get into it when we know more about Amren, which we will
Okay.
do in like 2 minutes.
Then enlighten us.
Well, Amren is also, until she is his final weapon, who knows, his political advisor, a walking library, and doer of his dirty work.
Ooh.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And we learn that they have been working together long before Rysand became High Lord. And here comes in my theory. Because we had the theory that Rysand eventually gets captured by Springcourt, where he meets Tamlin. And so, if you work together with Tamlin, and maybe worked already with Amren, Tamlin might know Amren.
Ooh.
Which rhymes. I'm just noticing.
Is their shipping name Tamarin?
Well, I do not ship them. I think that maybe when they were concerned about who might take over after Rysand is gone, they might have been talking about Amren.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very cool. You know, during this whole talk that Amren is something else, something made, something unique, and something this world hasn't seen, something that could have come from another world, I started thinking about other creatures from other Sarah J. Maas books I know. And I kind of started thinking what she could be. And if I know what she could be, And the possibilities that came into my mind were quite concerning, I tell you.
Oy. What I found interesting about this whole suicide unleashing Amren thing is that Amren would have no scruple to like kill this whole country, continent, whatever, world maybe, if she weren't in that Fae form. Like, she's right now one of the good guys, presumed, but just because it's just the whim of her right now. Like, if she chooses to do something else, she could be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what she could be, but I feel pretty positive that because this chapter mentions the possibility of other universes letting people into this universe, she could be something from another book series. Like, this is hinting at her being something I could know, and I'm so focused on finding out what she could be. And, you know, the whole she doesn't eat normal stuff, this could be a clue, and, you know.
Are you gonna elaborate, or is this spoiler territory?
No, I don't feel like I should say anything, but I'm not sure what she could be. Like I could name drop what I think she could be for people. You know, should I do that? I'm just gonna...
If the names don't reveal anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Just to people that know the other stories. So I feel like she could either be an Iron Teeth witch, which would be cool.
That sounds cool.
Or she could be one of the Asteri, which would just be fucked up.
Which
But I don't
sounds
think that's correct.
starry. Asteri.
But I feel like that could be a very far-fetched theory. But we can move on. This is not telling you anything.
Okay.
This is just a private conversation between me and the listeners. I hope you enjoyed it. I did.
And with their final thoughts about Amren, they reach the gates of the prison, which are made of bone.
Classic.
Very dramatic. And then we enter, and there's absolute darkness inside.
Oh no!
But Rysand guides Feyre and produces 3 baubles of moonlight, which it seemed to me like a fancy description for the D&D spell Dancing Light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I think we should like remember this for when we eventually like play someone who can cast dancing lights and be like, oh, and I produce 3 baubles of moonlight.
But that means Rysand does not have night vision, right?
Or he is concerned about Feyre.
But Feyre is Fae too now. So she
Right.
should have, like in D&D, Fae and half, like, elves. But come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
that's Fae. Elves and half-elves have night vision and can look
Through darkness.
through darkness. But not magical darkness.
Right?
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
that's
it's
magical
magical
darkness. We just got so excited about that.
But maybe Rysand knows that the darkness, regardless if Feyre can look through it, will just trigger something in her. So it produces some light.
He's very considerate.
Yeah.
Yes.
He even holds her hand. Honestly, that was so cute. This was like the first moment I was like, "Aw, those two are nice together."
Yeah.
Like, without prompted and not like icky, he just takes her hand and goes like, "I'm here."
Yes.
Maybe he needs the support too. I mean, he's been under the mountain as well. This might bring up
Yeah.
memories too.
And with his help, she overcomes her panic that flares up now and again while they are in there.
Awesome girl.
Yes. But we do not meet any guards because they dwell in the walls, are nothing but shadows of thought and an ancient spell, and they only emerge at feeding time.
Wild.
I soon realized this meant they bring the prisoners their food. My first thought was that the guards have a feeding time and maybe
Me too.
feed off the prisoners or something. I was like, they only emerge at feeding time. And so I thought like, crawly, crawly. But then I was like, oh, they bring food, and that was very anticlimactic. And then I just imagined a shadow with a tray.
Oh, cute. Like Caradwin and
Nuala.
Nuala, the dancing dog.
And while we are trekking through the dark, Rysand tells us that the prison acts under its own law and is kind of like an 8th court.
Cool.
But it does fall under the Night Court's jurisdiction, and therefore he can enter and leave.
And he can
whatever.
also sentence people there. Like, the prison is so powerful, and it can just hold people unless they are Amren and have some magical fucking amulet. Couldn't Rysand have been like, hey, Amarantha, I want to show you something very important at the prison. Meet me there. And then they go in and he's like, psych, sentence. And then Amarantha would have been in the prison.
Why would he do that?
Because he doesn't like Amarantha.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Amren.
They are not the same person.
Why would you do that? Huh? Because she's torturing
Sorry,
people?
I kind of zoned out while you were talking, and I was just la 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 la. I'm Rema.
My question being, couldn't he just have sentenced Amarantha to the prison?
I feel like a lot of these things, like in this whole chapter, these like formal interactions they have that are bound to the laws of this land, feel like they have some magical component that you can't just, like, maybe it has to be like a true court hearing where it is the sentence, you are now sentenced to the bad prison.
Yeah, it feels like a procedure.
But maybe she just knew the prison and wouldn't fall for this trap.
Okay. But then again, like, if Morrigan and Amron are just like the most powerful fuckers in this land and his last resort in a war, like Amarantha didn't know that they existed. Why didn't they just swoop in and beat Amarantha? Because their powers weren't restricted.
Because Sarah J. Maas did not know Amron and Morrigan existed when she wrote book 1, maybe.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I don't know.
The power of this prison is described as once the sentence is given and a prisoner passes those gates, they belong to the prison. It will never let them out.
Sounds like the Flying Dutchman. Is that what it's called?
Part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship.
Okay.
Which is cooler in German. Teil des Schiffs, Teil der Crew, Teil des Schiffs, Teil der Crew, Teil des Schiffs, Teil der Crew, Teil des Schiffs, Teil der Crew.
Do you think they grow little stone heads?
No.
No, but bone heads.
Ooh. I mean, your skull is already a bone, so do they just have bones
Yeah,
sticking
like
out?
the skull keeps
Oh,
growing.
right. You're... Okay.
I'm referring to...
I understood that reference.
I am referring to the crew of the Flying Dutchman from
Pirates
Pirates of the Caribbean having seaweed and stuff growing on their faces after having spent many, many years on the Flying Dutchman as part of the crew, part of the ship.
Part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew.
Guys, we are on a schedule here.
Right. You're right.
No, if Lea does it, it's okay.
I am allowed.
I have another question about the prison. Do we think, like, is that the only prison they have in Prithian? Is it like a fucked up system, like when you go to Azkaban, like they have one
mail
prison
fraud.
and it's just the worst living shithole in the world?
I think because Rysand says it's very rare, he sentences someone there. It's not the only prison.
I think they all have like their private prison cells in their courts.
Yeah.
But I also imagine that Rysand maybe just kills people he doesn't like if they like commit
reasonable.
a crime. And I think maybe the prison is a last resort when there's a being that he cannot kill.
Yeah. I feel this whole talk about this prison and you cannot get out, not ever, feels very Chekhov's gunny. And maybe
Gunny.
Feyre will someday be imprisoned in this prison.
Oh no.
Or maybe Tamlin will.
But he should not get out.
Yes. Or maybe in like 2 weeks she just meets the Bone Carver in the streets of Laos and he's like, hey, I just got
Hey,
out.
you gave me this bone, I carved a key. Before we do meet the Bone Carver, we get more lore. Apparently, as we have talked about a little bit, Amron is a being from another world. Because when the world was born, there were rips in the fabric of the
Fedric Diggory.
Do you know what the Super Carlin brothers call him?
No.
Dedrick. Because he's dead.
Spoiler.
Well, don't read Harry Potter. Not if you haven't read it yet. Like, don't buy the books anymore. Yay, trans rights.
Ashley rights.
Where was I? Right. Because when this world was born, there were rips in the fabric of the realms. And, like, beings came through. Otherworldly beings, obviously, therefore. And a lot of the prisoners here are otherworldly beings that are looking for a way home.
I've been looking for freedom.
And we also learned that Amron has been trapped in that prison for several millennia.
That is, let me calculate, a long time.
Good math.
Thank you.
And we also get a casual side info. There are several Suriel.
I thought we knew that.
I thought it was just the Suriel, the one Suriel, but apparently Suriel is also the plural. So
Yeah.
there's also the Suriel.
They are like a small little species.
I didn't know that.
E.T.
No, they are from this world. They do not seek to go home.
Sorry.
Because Rysand tried to capture a Suriel, did you just think he tried to capture the same Suriel?
Yes! I
Didn't
thought
he,
there was the Suriel in this
didn't
world.
he say, like, I tried to capture one and I failed?
Maybe I read it as I tried to
The
capture
one.
it once, you know.
Yeah, there are several Suriel. Several Suriel. Try to say that 3 times in a row.
Several Suriel.
Where's this episode going? Well, the last thing they talk about before they reach the right cell is the Bone Carver himself. Because they only told Feyre what to say and nothing about what to expect. How stupid can you be? I ask you.
Maybe Rysand was like, we talk about it, like, on the way down. Like, it's a long way down. They have time to talk.
I mean, they don't have to tell us what she is about to expect, but they should tell her.
You know, that's the point. I was so angry that they told me before meeting the Bone Carver that the Bone Carver would appear as someone different to everyone. Why tell me? It would have been such a cool narrative device that after meeting him, Feyre would be like, I don't know, the zebra with a horn was very funny. And then Rysand goes like, that's what he appeared to you. Yeah, I see a baby.
Yeah.
And then we would have been like, what? What?
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, Sarah.
Yes. Why tell me beforehand?
Well, what he does tell her eventually is that he does shapeshift. Well, he doesn't really shapeshift, that's the thing.
He's like the Puka?
Yeah.
I forgot about them.
The Puka from chapter, 10 in book 1. The thing that, like, appeared as Feyre's dad.
Right.
It would always appear as your heart's most desire.
Her dad?
Apparently.
This
Well,
pathetic person?
Getting rescued, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, kind of. Maybe the same school of magic, who knows?
Yeah, but it's not like the desire.
Not that we know.
Well, let's talk about it.
Let me just say, she sees, spoiler for the next sentence, she sees a dark-haired boy. And when she said that, just for one moment, I dared to dream that he appears as Isaac Hale to her. That was just where my mind went.
Well, she does see a dark-haired boy with blue eyes, which does unsettle Feyre because he's a little child in this moment.
He's like 8,
Yeah.
right?
So not Isaac Hale.
But
or
if-
maybe Isaac Hale when he was 8.
That's the
We
thing,
don't
like,
know.
I feel like there has to be a deeper meaning to this.
At first, I thought she's seeing Rysand as a child.
Yes,
But
I
then I,
thought the
remember that
same.
Rysand's eyes are described to be like a sort of
Violet.
dark violet.
Yeah.
Maybe some red came into his eyes when he got older. We don't know.
Maybe his eye color changed when he killed his first innocent person.
Like she's a
Sure.
werewolf from Teen Wolf.
Well, I thought there must be a deeper reason for who this child is. Like, do you have any guesses? I mean, Rysand as a child, strong contender, but doesn't seem reasonable right now.
I tried so hard to think of one. I couldn't. I thought maybe it's... Do we know what eye color Feyre has?
I was thinking
thought
the
it was her
same
son,
thing.
maybe.
I thought about that too.
Her son?
Yeah. If
But
she would have
Meike,
a son.
she does not have a son.
But maybe she would have a son that turns out dark-haired.
Feyre and Ezreal!
No, it turns out that Tamlin was just using blonde hair dye the entire time.
Bleaching his hair.
Yeah, that's a good
I think
theory.
that's a reasonable
Well, Feyre
guess.
has, like, I think just basic brown eyes. And as we all know, brown mixed with dark violet equals blue. Genetics. Fae'd-genetics. Faenetics.
Well, something else the Bone Carver has in common, except for maybe their eye color, is that the Bone Carver is an artist.
Artiste!
Because he did not only carve his door, but all the other doors in the prison.
It made me sad we didn't get to see other doors. And we didn't even get to see his door in detail. But what I wanted to see the most was Emran's door. Because I feel like he
right.
would carve the doors like fitting to the person. He feels like someone who knows a lot and knows people. And then he would carve what they are into the door.
Well, we only learned that on his door there are many different pictures, some beautiful and some revolting.
But it's kind of funny
What is?
that the Bone Carver is called the Bone Carver because he likes to carve bones.
Yeah, it seemed like he would be some crazy-ass torturer or something.
Yeah. Like, I think Fae'd even asks, why is he called the Bone Carver? And Rysand is like, oh, you'll see. And that sounded like it's some fucked up shit, and then he's just a little bone artist.
Cute.
Do you think he has a flute?
Do you think he has a boner?
No.
Okay.
The first interaction is that Rysand brought him an initial first gift, and it is the bone that Fae'd used to slay the Midgard worm.
The worm? The worm? Nice. Very considerate.
Yes, and the Bone Carver makes some sly remarks, but to have a real conversation, Fae'd offers a question for a question. Kind of a little bit like the, let's call it, game she played with Rysand when they flew up to the House of Wind. And the Bone Carver has a great curiosity about how Fae'd came to be, and especially what she experienced while she was dead. And it becomes clear that he hopes that death might be a way to another world. So it seems that he's also an otherworldly being that tries to get home. Mm-hmm. And Fae'd describes her death as an inky nothing, but because of her bargain with Rysand, there was a tether left. And she followed that tether because she knew home was on the other side. Oh,
very, very cute. I guess emotional anchors are kind of a trope and are used often in fantasy stories. But in another series by Sarah J. Maas, someone anchoring you is a very important thing. So I'm wondering if this will come up later, that Rysand is her anchor and keeps her anchored. How many times can you say anchored in an episode?
What I found interesting is that at that point she probably thought Tamlin and her love for Tamlin is the home that's waiting for her. But it was Rysand all along.
How the turns have tabled.
And with that, the Bone Carver's curiosity has kind of been satiated a little bit, and it is his turn to answer some questions. And he tells us that a person can only be resurrected if the soul had been preserved. And unfortunately for us, Amarantha has done that with Jorian's soul.
Great.
And this is where we get into this whole high fantasy MacGuffin hunt exposition dump. And I love it. And I think Sarah J. Maas knows that this is just gonna be fun and weird and over the top. Because like the way he frames it, they ask if anyone could ever resurrect Jorian. Then the Bone Carver goes, no, there's no way. And then Fae'd sighs in relief and he's like, unless.
Yeah, he's just a little jokester.
Yeah.
Because he's literally like, well, has the soul been preserved? There's no way. Unless. It's really funny.
And then we get to learn about the 8 MacGuffins. Go ahead.
A lot of lore. Again. It turns out the cauldron with which the world has been forged.
Could you maybe sing that? I feel like
it turns out the cauldron with which the world has been forged is an actual indestructible physical object. It still possesses the power of creation. So with that thing, a resurrection would be possible.
The power of creation.
Well, lucky for us, the powers of the cauldron have been diminished because its 3 feet on which it stands have been cleaved off. How convenient.
The power of the cauldron.
And the 3 feet shall be found in Caesarea, Sangana, and Ithaca.
In Western Italy.
And, well, my first thought was, oh no, the temple attacks, because Caesarea, the temple was attacked. But also, let's talk about names. Let's interrupt this little prayer session for names. The cauldron was once hidden in Lapland.
Fucking hell.
I don't know what Lapland is called in English.
Lapland is Lapland, but with 1 P less.
Yeah, so this Lapland is written with a U, which makes it sound even more like the German Lapland, which Lapland is not in Germany. It's in Scandinavia.
The German word, Lapland.
Yes.
I wondered, are we either just done pretending this is not inspired by, like, actual European and Scandinavian lands? Or is this actually supposed to be our world? Like, there's this Midgard worm thing, which, you know, the Midgard
Right.
Earth.
I know what you mean.
So could, at some point, the plot of this book be like, oh, this is either the future or the past? Or maybe it's like a parallel universe. I mean, this chapter talks a lot about different universes, so maybe this is Earth 12. And on Earth 12, there are Fae. Because when Earth was created, magic got in.
Yeah. I also don't actually want to shame, like, using, like, word-inspired names and reusing them in your world. I'm just always a little bit surprised, and I don't know why. Maybe because it hasn't really been established, and so it just seems a bit shoehorned in.
Because the land is not called Ingoland, but Brithian. You know, it sounds... Ingoland! It sounds very different to Britain.
Well,
though,
Brithian and Britain...
I don't know. I mean, Lapland and Lapland are just very much the same word. That feels like in Game of Thrones. They walk around and then they are like, let's go to Germany.
Yeah.
Right? That would just be weird.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the northern region on the continent that's called Valhalla. Valhalla.
Well, Valhalla is actually not an actual place.
Yes, I know, but it's like from that culture that would be located there. And I will buy your theory, Meike, if Lapland actually turns out to be like in the north of the continent.
Of course it's going to be there.
And I can get behind your theory because maybe, like, the map of Brithian does not look like Britain exactly. But these are medieval times. They might have unreliable map makers.
Your rant just gave me a little theory.
Go ahead.
It is very probable that Lapland is a northern region on the continent. And we know... I forgot her name.
Ianthe.
Ianthe was in Valahan. Maybe...
This shady bitch!
She found the cauldron for the King of Hybern.
Evil lady.
Evil Ianthe.
But for the story now, we actually don't really need to know where Lapland is. It's just a little bit of world building thrown away because the cauldron is not there anymore. And at this point, the Bone Carver stops answering questions, and so Feyre offers up some new information. So I will stop singing because it's just Feyre information.
I thank you for singing, though.
I will do again when it's about more cauldron stuff.
Okay.
Because it is prophetic.
But with all your singing, we will have an even harder time convincing everyone that this podcast isn't a cult.
Well, we're not forcing you to do anything except listen to the episodes, so
Yeah.
it's not an evil cult. It's a cozy cult. Join us. Getting Fae'd.
Part of the pod.
Part of the cult! Part of the pod! Part of the cult! Nope. Definitely not a cult. Nope.
Feyre reveals when she killed those fairies, she fully intended on ending her own life after that. And only after she had been murdered, she chose life. She says, I knew I had not finished whatever it was I'd been born to do.
Smash Rice Head.
Well, Feyre opens up very deep, not necessarily secrets, kind of secrets, but like we notice Rice Hand is kind of shocked by these revelations, but it also feels good to hear Feyre actually put to words how she felt and that she did choose life. This information is enough for the Bone Carver, and so he reveals the King of Hybern is already in possession of the cauldron.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, what does he reveal?
He reveals it is not only the tool for resurrection, but it could also shatter the wall.
Shatter the wall.
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to chime in here with my own thoughts about this right now.
No, Lea, you are not allowed to have own thoughts.
Okay, then I will just sing it. The cauldron is like a time bomb.
Boom.
Because it is charging up with energy. So the more time passes, the more dangerous it becomes.
Big boom.
And Hybern has been quiet for 500 years. So it has been charging for a while. Bigger boom. Well, Feyre desperately asks if there's any way to stop it. And it turns out there is a book forged from the same ore that lets you control the cauldron.
One book to control.
It has been deemed useless because nothing that has been created by the world can wield it. How convenient that Feyre has not been created by the world, but by 7 High Lords.
Wow, what a quinky doink.
Oh my.
And at this point, I would like to come back to a theory I had one in the very beginning. Because Feyre has been born anew. So one might say she has 7 parents that gave her life. And so Tamlin is her father. I was right.
Okay.
Yes, you were.
Thank you.
Well done.
Good job. You're a genius.
You're
Which
genius.
also means Rice Hand is some sort of father, but we will forget that.
Okay. You love daddy issues, don't you? So
If there's two things you love, Lea, it's incest and daddy issues. So this might be right up your alley.
I never said I love incest. I just think it's funny. Like, not in real life. Well, we get some next steps of the quest. Should I really go on singing? I feel like we don't get this information. I mean, I like this, but it's like, this is important information.
Okay.
The singing is over now.
I'm sorry, but this is important.
Okay.
Because this book, this cauldron controlling book, has been split up as part of the peace treaty.
Of course.
Oh no, there are two halves that need to be reunited.
And one half is currently owned by the Summer Court.
Ooh.
And the other half is in the mortal realm, entombed with the 6 mortal queens. And it cannot be obtained by magic, but must be given freely. So this quest will eventually lead us back into the mortal realms. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, yeah.
I find this very promising, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Yes, I need so much more information on those 6 queens.
Yes.
When it said in book 1 that the treaty was forged by 6 queens, we had this
By 7 queens.
by
6.
no,
It took
6
6 queens. And we thought Feyre might be the 7th queen.
Yeah. But it
Well,
was forged.
you thought it took the time for 6 queens.
Yes,
And we thought you sounded reasonable.
Yeah.
And thought we were dumb.
Because we thought that there were 6 queens at once. Now,
Yes.
who's dumb? Meike, who's dumb?
But how does it work?
Who's dumb? Let me hear it. Who's dumb? Who's dumb?
It's me. I'm dumb.
Yes.
But do you think, is the mortal realm just basically one big country called the mortal realm? And it has 6 queens ruling it together? Or is it Germany and France and Italy and Austria and Belgium and the Netherlands?
Well, I think they are just like 6 kingdoms or queendoms, and they allied because the Fae people attacked.
What
Okay.
I am thinking that either Nesta or Elaine might
Be
because
a
then
queen.
Maybe they become a queen. Because they're now back in high society and can have relations and
Oh, wow.
What did they?
Queen Nesta.
I would love it.
She would be unbearable. I love it.
But with that, Feyre and Rysand have all the information that they need, and the Bone Carver bids them goodbye with these unsettling words. I shall carve your death in here, Feyre. Okay,
Thanks.
bro. And the chapter ends with the revelation that the Bone Carver knew exactly what they were about to talk about with him, because to Rysand, he appeared as Jorian. And that made me wonder, maybe the child was also Jorian. Like, a child Jorian. It's like the beginning and the end, because it was Rysand saw him like right at like the moment when he dueled with Amarantha. But I think it's a better theory that it's her son. But
That
not
would
if
be
the
cool.
eyes fit.
I mean, Feyre would know what eye color he has. Because
Oh,
his
right,
eye...
Jorian.
Yeah, because his eye is the only thing he's seen.
Correct.
Was that blue?
I don't think it was mentioned.
I don't remember what color, or if she mentioned a color, but I can really see how it said, and in her ring there sat a piercing blue eye or something.
But then I think Feyre would have been like, oh, they're just like the eye I've seen in the ring.
Before we move on to chapter 19, I'd like to share my favorite moment of this chapter, though, because
Yes,
it made me
please.
giggle.
Equal.
To change things up a little, the Bone Carver asks Rysand for a secret to continue to talk. And then Rysand answers, oh well, ever since I hurt my knee in the war, it hurts when it rains. It never healed. And I think that's such a funny thing to say, and
Yeah.
it made me like Rysand so much. But then the Bone Carver is like, well, yeah, thank you for sharing a secret I didn't know. And then moves on, and that is just such good yes and improvisation. I just love that it worked. That like this funny joke worked. I
Yeah.
love that.
The Bone Carver, aside from being a creepy ancient being, is also just a guy.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
just
him.
a dude. He's so funny.
Yeah.
I hope we see him again.
So yeah, what's the conclusion of the chapter? I think, if I counted correctly, there's 8 MacGuffins, but also just kind of 2. There are the 3 feet of the cauldron. There's the cauldron. There's... Wait, did I write down 8? There's like one half of the book.
The
another
other
half of the book.
Jorian's eye.
And Jorian's eye, that's 7. Well, there's also Jorian's finger.
Yeah.
8. And I love it.
Yeah.
Because these are fantasy shenanigans, and the weird romance can just fuck off.
Well,
I don't think it will fuck off, but for now, I'm happy.
You know, for once, it feels like there is fantasy in this romantasy book. Like, book 1 is just romance with a phase setup.
Yeah.
But these, like, we have a quest. This is finally fantasy.
Yeah, I love it.
And we had romance, and I enjoyed this romance because the romance plot included
A breakup
with Tamlin. I like that we now take a little breather from the romance, and then presumably the romance with Rysand will start. But for now, I'm sitting here in my little high fantasy corner, and I'm happy.
I have to say, I also really enjoy these high fantasy tidbits and the quest, and that she is, again, the chosen one to wield the book without, like, being the chosen one, except for, I have to do what I was born to do. My mission is over kind of thing, but I also like that. But I also have this, like, I can now use a break, like, to breathe where the romance happens and then, like, go on. And that does kind of happen, like this chapter. I feel like this new romance is brought in, not subtly, but, like, tastefully, maybe. But first, chapter 19, we get home. The townhouse, and there Cassian, Ezreal and Morrigan are awaiting Feyre and Rysand to hear how it went, and Amren is noticeably absent, so Feyre cannot give back the amulet. They tell them what they have learned and decide that they need to keep this information strictly inside the circle. And since Hybern's forces have already attacked one temple in Night Court, the King of Hybern probably won't try to gain Rhys as an ally. And so that means the Hybern forces have already infiltrated the Night Court territory. And Rhys wants to return the favor and infiltrate Hybern in return, find the cauldron and take it back or destroy it.
Let's go. Sounds easy.
Yeah.
Woo. Let's just put on our sneaky trench coat and sneak into Hybern. Maybe Rysand will cosplay as like a maid and then try to steal the cauldron. I want to see that.
Sounds like a fan fiction.
This inner circle now has a two-pronged mission, because on the one hand they search for the book while preparing the infiltration of Hybern. And since this book is hidden by the Summer Lord's magic, I just called him Summer Lord, like the High Lord of Summercourt was too long for me.
We know his name. We learned his name in this chapter.
Right, he's Tarkin.
Yeah.
Like Governor Tarkin.
Yeah.
Since the book is hidden by the Summer Lord's magic, only his magic can find it. And who also possesses some of the Summer Lord's magic?
I know.
Tell us.
Feyre does.
I know Feyre. She is the protagonist. What a queaky doink.
Perfect.
And so Feyre is also supposed to act as a compass.
Yes. And whom we know is also currently on a mission at the western coast of Summercourt.
Right.
Her ex, Tam. I smell intrigue.
Nice.
I smell sneaky. Who farted?
Tamlin.
Yes.
But are you sure he's on a mission at the western coast of Summercourt?
No, it was Spring Court, right?
Or maybe like the border to Summercourt. I think
Maybe, like
Summercourt was mentioned.
Because Rysand is in cahoots
He
with Summercourt, right?
He sent a letter to further the diplomatic relations to Summercourt.
Okay, I just checked, and the quote is, there's activity on the western sea border, the one closest to Hybern. But let me check the map. It appears to me that the Summercourt coast is also the coast closest to Hybern. So my
Who
theory
said
is
that?
not that Tamlin. When he was about to leave, he was like, there's activity on the western sea border.
Isn't there a city in Summercourt on the map? Is that on the coast?
Oh, yes.
Is that on the coast?
western coast.
So that might be like the capital city of Summercourt?
It might be.
But before we can head to Summercourt to get the book or do other intrigue stuff, we have to test this theory, if Feyre can actually act as a compass. And so they will first visit the Weaver to find one of Rhys's objects. And Feyre's reaction to that is quite exasperated and reasonable. She says, can't you ever just call someone by their given name?
She's being very real.
Also a nice self-call out by Sarah J. Maas.
Maybe a little dig at fantasy novels as well.
Do you think she's a spider lady?
The Weaver?
Yes.
Feels
I
like
think
it.
so.
Nice.
But isn't like the Weaver's cottage on the map?
Yes, it's next to Under the Mountain.
Uh-oh. Trauma time.
Oh, oh, oh.
Spider in the Mountain sounds very much like Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Ring.
She's called the Weaver because her actual name is Ungoliant. But Feyre is also given an official role in Night Court now.
Exciting!
Because she is now the emissary to the Night Court for the human realm.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome.
Yay.
Good
you
job,
know who's
Feyre.
also an emissary? Lucian. Will that be how they meet again? Will Feyre at some point go somewhere in her role as an emissary, and Lucian will be there too in his role as an emissary without Tamlin, and they can talk and reunite without Tamlin pressing on them? I would love that.
And she is the first emissary like this since 500 years, because there hasn't been one for that long.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Nice. I hope it's a good job. I hope her colleagues are nice.
Hope it pays well.
I hope there are dental benefits.
And since Feyre might be hunted for what she is now, this human fae
Hybrid.
crossbreed. She's not a crossbreed.
She's a crossover.
They will set up base in neutral territory where she is trusted, which is, of course, her family estate.
I screamed out loud reading that. Establishing home base at Nesta and Elaine's home in the mortal realm?
Great.
That sounds so cool.
It sounds so fucking promising. Also, what's that father gonna do? Like, is he just like a roaming, almost ghostly figure that's like, what are these people in my house?
I can see him just locking him inside his study and being like, I don't want to have anything to do with those weird people. Also, do you think this will be the beginning of Thomas Mandray's villain arc?
Yes.
He will find out and he'll be like, no, there are fairies in our lands now. I will kick their asses.
Maybe.
Yes.
I like it.
And maybe he will try to recruit Isaac Hale, but he will refuse.
The
and then
thing
go
is,
to
the
Feyre.
possibility for Isaac's return.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
But also coming back to this father. I hate this father so much.
Maybe he has died.
I honestly,
Yes.
I would not be mad at this book if they just go there to Nesta and Elaine and the father is never mentioned again.
Or they just say, oh yeah, we buried him in the yard.
But Feyre's like, okay.
Ah, fuck this. Also, Elaine and Nesta meeting the gang.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
It's set up for hilarious stuff.
Give me your ships.
Since we have already shipped Lucian and Elaine, I can also see Cassian and Elaine. But I don't see Nesta and Ezreal, though.
No, maybe the other way around.
Yeah.
Like Ezreal and Elaine, like the two quieter
Yeah.
ones.
And like Cassian and Nesta, they could have intense back and forth.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I see Nesta and Morrigan,
Oh.
obviously.
That would be a power couple. Oh,
Damn.
Lord.
I forgot about Morrigan.
I mean, I'm still very sold on Ezreal and Morrigan, but Nesta and Morrigan,
Yeah.
wow, that would be a mixture. Whew.
That would be
Also,
perfect.
that would leave like Amren and the father.
She'd eat him for breakfast.
Yeah, maybe they like sleep together and then he's dead because she's too powerful.
No, they walk in there and Amren is like, I can kill him for you. And Farrah's like, yes,
No.
please.
She's like, yes, I do not need him anymore. Then there's a break in the chapter and we rejoin Feyre the next morning where she wakes up and for the first time in ages has slept through the night. Very happy.
Because she has purpose now.
Yes! And Rysand enters the room and helps her get ready, I guess. They again put on some fighting up because today they will visit the Weaver.
You know, now Rysand just behaves like your weird roommate who like comes into your room, chills on your bed and just
Yeah.
talks to you while you're like, well, I actually have stuff to do. Can you leave? And he's like, nah, I'm just chilling here now. Like, this is my room too.
And they do have a little talk about that Rysand did have his suspicions about this whole cauldron book thing, whatever. But he wanted it confirmed, and for that he did need Feyre. Like he was just waiting for her to agree to work with him. And that is also why he wanted her to learn how to read so that she can use the book.
Deep shit.
And then he fastens a knife belt on her leg. And while he's doing that, they get quite close to each other. But he goes on like talking about the mission today, and he says that the Weaver won't notice the knives because she has knives in her cottage. And like the mechanics of this creature promise to be quite interesting. Like it's weird and fucked up and dangerous. Sounds fun.
I like the sexual tension between them
Yes.
in this moment. It feels realistic and, palpable, but not overly dramatic.
Yeah.
I really liked
When
it.
they had tension like this before, he also was like a little bit suppressing. And now, like, as he instructs her further, he stays kneeling in front of her. Very great.
She even mentions, like, he made Tamlin kneel, but he kneels in front of me.
Yeah.
Which is, powerful.
Yeah.
And once more, I am reminded of the fact that I am perhaps just not the target audience for this kind of book, because I did not notice the tension between them.
Like the way he just knelt there. Amazing.
I was completely oblivious to the fact
No
that you
wonder.
mentioned it now.
just help you with your belt.
Yes.
No wonder it took us so long to start dating.
Well, he says to her that she needs to be fast and quiet.
Fast and Furious.
Just like us, this episode, because we're on a tight time schedule.
We're just not quiet this episode.
But you wanted us to be.
Yes.
Lea wanted us to make an ASMR episode. And then we would all just talk like this into your ear.
The time.
While he's kneeling in front of you.
Fastening the knife belt. What would the knife sound like?
The Weaver is blind.
But not deaf. So
But
they
that's
can
why-
listen to our ASMR.
But that's why Feyre won't be noticed as long as she only touches the object that belongs to Rysand. And we never learn what this object is because she could have made it to look different or whatever Feyre is supposed to find out.
But fighting a blind creature that has to rely on some other sense, it's right up her alley. She is experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. But her not being allowed to touch anything else is mentioned so often.
She will.
She will touch something. But I just
Yeah, obviously.
started wondering what could be in that hut that makes her want to grab something. Because I feel like it's going to be a scene where she's like, okay, there's the thing I'm going to get for Rysand. And then she sees something else and she's like, I am needing this. I need to take this. But what could it be? What does Feyre need right now?
I have 3 theories.
I have one theory.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we know that the Weaver's cottage is near under the mountain, so maybe she just finds Jurian's ring.
That was one of my theories. That either, I don't know if like she found it, but maybe people brought it to her, beings, whatever. Or like my other theories are not that fleshed out.
Let's hear 'em anyways.
Maybe it's one thing that clearly belongs to Tamlin or Springcourt, and she's like, I need this because sentimental value or strategic value or whatever, something like that. Or something that clearly belongs to the mortals, or used to belong to the mortals fighting the Fae. So either Springcourt, mortals, or Jurian.
Okay. I like that.
Nice.
But even though this fighting a blind creature should be up Feyre's wheelhouse, she's a little pissed. And is like, why can't you get this thing yourself? But no High Lord is allowed to interfere with her. But because of Feyre's new nature now, she belongs to every court. Phrased a little weirdly, but okay. And so I guess her going there doesn't break any of these magical laws.
And that's also how they test like the theory, because she would need to use Rysand's magic to find like his thing.
Yeah. And this chapter ends on high tension between them because she's like, so I'm your huntress and a thief. And while still kneeling before her, cupping the back of her knees, grinning up at her, he says, you are my salvation, Feyre.
Dope.
Subtext just completely over my head.
How? Like it says, like he cupped my knees, like. Did
Yeah,
you not picture how that looked?
Because he was attaching the knives to her.
But he was done, and then he like
Platonically.
slid his hands down her legs, landed at her. He's like, it has the makings of someone who is praying for her help. Like he's clutching kind of her legs and kneeling before her and it's like, please, please help me. But it's like taken back, like clutching her knees, grinning up at her roguishly. It's like, you are my salvation.
Yeah, that's a strong sentence. You're my salvation, Feyre. I can imagine a lot of people going feral over the audiobook. I don't know what it sounds like, but I can imagine a lot of people being like, oh, I'm going to listen to that on repeat.
And just him kneeling. Woo.
Yeah, this chapter is doing a lot for the Rhysand and Feyre ship. We don't have a ship name yet, right? Do we?
Fae'd.
I hate it.
Fees.
Fees.
How about
Rhaera.
Rhaera?
I mean, Bad Kitty would be the obvious choice, sticking to the law of this podcast.
But I don't want to give this ship such a...
Stupid?
Yeah, I want to give it more respect. I say Night Savior. Like, she's the savior, obviously. That's like her title.
Night Jesus.
I don't know.
Jesus.
I like Rhaera.
Yeah, Rhaera.
Rhaera is kind of fun.
Rhaera.
Perfect. Rhaera.
Rhaera
I'm starting to
und
root for
Kitty.
Rhaera.
Well, and that's it. That's all the information. We've made it through this episode quite fast with almost no tangents at all.
We are so great. This episode must be 20 minutes long.
I'm very proud of you guys. And of me.
You did well.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
You are our salvation, Lea.
You're welcome.
Kneel and say it again.
I don't want to. My legs hurt.
Oh.
Look, and that is the difference between you and a sexy shadow
His
daddy.
knee hurts too.
What is your excuse?
I don't have one.
And with this high-tensioned Rhaera moment, I hope this nice tension will keep you through the next 2 weeks until the next episode get out. But if you need help keeping that tension up, you can go visit our socials on Instagram and TikTok at GettingFadePod, where you can see some highlights and some reels and some outtakes and memes. And if you like this tension and culty vibes we have going on, we would be happy if you would leave us a 5-star review and recommend this podcast. Yes, this is a podcast.
We are all swimming here. Bloop, 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 bloop.
We're water nymphs.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Race.
Bloop, 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 bloop,
Right,
bloop, bloop,
that's
bloop, bloop. We are unsatiable for your downloads.
And recommend this podcast to your friends or family or whoever you might know, because mouth to mouth propaganda helps. Yes, we need propaganda for this cult.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We can't be a cult because we do not have a Patreon.
That's right.
Yet. And also, if you guys at home happen to enjoy my voice in its talking state, you might enjoy it in its singing state. Because I want to do a little plug, because my band Indigo McCarpet just released its very first song. So if you like alt indie rock music, I guess, go check it out. It's called Baby Jesus. It's on all streaming platforms. And to convince you to listen to it, I will play 1 second of the song now.
Wow, that sounds great. I'm gonna listen to it right now.
Me too.
Thanks, guys.
With your hair in a cloud. And with that, we hope you have a nice 2 weeks. Have a great time until the next time when we are
Getting Fae'd.